Welcome to the first series of videos on the LifeSmart 100-Day Lab. I'm Dr. Dasarath Rama, and today I'll be talking about creating enjoyable experiences with your child. While I'm focusing on the parent role, these ideas are also applicable for any teacher or educator working with children or any other learner. The focus is on the parent role, and I'll be presenting 7 questions for guides or parents to consider while implementing learning experiences with their child or learners. The big idea today is life is theater, theater is life. As Dr. Ambika Kameshwar, founder and director of Ramanasunitya Alya, and the developer of the Theater Arts for Holistic Development, is fond of saying, life is theater, theater is life. This perspective spotlights the importance of roles. In theater, everyone has a role to play, and they must focus on performing this role well. So I encourage parents to reflect on their role as parents and think about how they can play this role better. This is particularly challenging for parents of neurodivergent children because we are exposed to a lot of information. We have to juggle therapies, special education, and so many other requirements. So we can actually lose sight of having enjoyable experiences with our child. Today, I'll focus on the 7 questions. And the big idea, as I said, is life is theater, theater is life. So there are 3 activities, one on the big idea, and then a reflection activity, and another activity to start using the information that we are sharing. There are 3 key drivers or sources of information behind this presentation. One, as I mentioned, is Theater Arts for Holistic Development, and we are drawing on this idea of life is theater and theater is life. In particular, we can think about parenting as theater. The LifeSmart parenting, which is something that I developed from my years of experience with Anant, with homeschooling and many other experiences, I identified 4 pillars, which is learning daily, interests, family fun, and engagement with communities. So this also we draw upon to think about the parent role. And finally, Anant's adventures. What we are sharing is based on over 20 years of exploration and experimentation in which Anant and I have tried varied approaches and have had varied experiences. So these 3 are 3 main sources that drive every video in the series. We will also draw upon other sources and other approaches that we have used, and we'll refer to different approaches in different videos. So the first point is learning together. So this is not about making your child do something. What we want to focus on is how we will make this experience more enjoyable for the child. And an important element of that is the we go feeling, that we are doing this together. We want to emphasize enjoyment and doing together, learning together as the core of what we are trying to do. So then we can think about, as we are having this experience, what will we learn? And again, the learning is not just for the parent, but also for the child. So Anant has been folding circles since 2007, and a folded circle actually visually conveys what we are trying to say. The circle is divided in half, and one side is for the guide and one side is for the learner. So the idea is the parent has to give balanced attention to both these sides. So they have to think about what their role is, but they also have to think about what their child's role is. They have to think about how they're going to scaffold or support their child in the learning. And at the same time, they have to think about how they can encourage their child to be more engaged. And finally, they have to think about communication with their child. So a simple folded circle, and this is a tetrahedron that Anant has folded many, many times over the last 15 years, is a beautiful way to convey this balance. We cannot just keep thinking about the child side and just keep thinking about the child's challenges and what do we need to do to get the child to do something. We have to think about our role, what we can do, and how we can learn and how we can better do what we are supposed to do. So that brings me to question number 3, which is the parent role. Think about the parent role in any experience that you have with your child. And also think about the child's role. A part of the parent's role is actually to think about the child's role in relationship development intervention. This seems to have become very explicit because those who have done it recently have talked about how they're very particular about what role is being assigned to the child, and we have to find a role that works for them. So, for example, even in a simple activity like hanging up clothes, we can think about how we can structure it so the child is actively engaged and is able to participate with enjoyment. The 3 questions here to think more about the parent guide role. One is scaffolding. Scaffolding is how do we bring it to the level of the child? What is the point of learning of the child? And in any activity, bringing it to that level will increase the child's engagement. Then we can be very specific about the ways in which a child can participate in this activity. So, for example, in the hanging up the clothes example, we can first start by establishing a pattern where the child hands an item of clothing to the parent and the parent hangs it on the line. Or if you're putting groceries away, maybe the child picks up one item and gives it to the parent and the parent puts it away. And then we can think about communication. And communication is not just oral communication, but it's also nonverbal. So, for example, if the child hands something to a parent and the parent puts it away, they can simply look at the child to communicate that, yes, I put that away and now I'm waiting for the next thing. So, thinking about communication is very important, and I'll talk more about this in future videos. Now, we can also think a little bit more about the parent role in terms of the 4 life components. And these will be discussed in future videos, but I just wanted to give a preview. So one of the important elements of the parent role is creating daily rhythms. And the daily rhythms or the daily flow of activities can keep the child calm and energized to participate in specific experiences. Discovering and nurturing the child's interest is a second component of life. We're all more motivated and engaged when activities interest us. So while every activity cannot be interesting, we can at least have a mix of experiences and include the child's interests, and also find ways to make every activity more interesting for the child. And then family fun, which is the third one, which is about structuring the experiences to make it enjoyable for the parent and for the child. So how can we enjoy this time together, not how we can make the child learn something. And finally, creating experiences for engaging the child in the community. The first activity is to think about the big idea, which is parenting as theater. How can parenting as theater perspective help you in enjoying experiences with your child? So think about this question, and we encourage your participation in our 100-day lab group. Do share your ideas about how parenting as theater can help you. The second question is about the parent role. So think about a specific experience that you enjoyed with your child this week. Describe your role and your child's role in this activity. How did this activity unfold? How did it work out? What changes would you make? So this kind of continuous reflection will help you play your role as a parent better. The third question is about the life components. So think about your role as a parent guide in terms of the 4 life components. So describe your role in terms of these components, and we encourage you to share your responses to all three activities in our LifeSmart 100-Day Lab group. My son Anant is a 26-year-old Bharatanatyam dancer, theater artist, a blogger, and a coder. We have homeschooled for many, many years, and we've been co-learners for over 2 decades. So everything I'm presenting includes his contributions. So for example, paper folding is his interest. And while when he started, we didn't have any idea that this is where it would end up, it is now something that we are able to use as a visualization tool. So this is just one example of his contributions to this whole process. Anant is a student ambassador for Ramana Sunitya Alaya, and he's a student ambassador for Theatre Arts for Holistic Development. His YouTube channel is one of our key resources, and I particularly want to draw attention to this because this is a core of how we are developing our daily sharing and 100-Day Lab. It's grounded in all our experiences over the last 20 years. So we have explored relationship development intervention, Enki education, Waldorf, theater arts for holistic development, and many, many other approaches. So how we have brought this into Anant's experiences and now also creating resources through Anant's Adventures YouTube channel, all of this informs what we share through this My Lessons and other blogs and so on. I'm a professor and home educator. My focus on being mindful about the parent guide role started with relationship development intervention, and it continues on today with theater arts for holistic development. I've already finished one level of certification in TAHD, and I'm continuing on to the second level now. So I just wanted to share this because often when we are parenting neurodivergent children, we're always thinking in terms of the child's challenges and hurry, hurry, hurry. We need to fix this. We need to, improve this and so on. But step back and think about your own role. What is it that you need to do? How can you be a better guide to your child? So this is a question we started with relationship development intervention and have been discovering answers over many, many years. So I'll share what I've learned, and I encourage every parent to be more mindful of this daily. Thank you. So you can contact me at lifesmartlabs@gmail.com, and our website is lifesmart100daylab.com.